welcome to Inspired XPert End User Operations. My name is Kyle Davis and I will be your instructor through this suite of courses. In these videos, you will learn how to use Inspired XPert to create dynamic, engaging digital signage. In this video, we'll learn how to set up Composer, including signing into the software, adding your players, and importing your templates. It'll cover everything you need to do before you start creating signage. What you see here is the login screen for Inspired Composer. To get to Composer, you can use any browser and simply navigate to the path provided to you by your network administrator, or by going to the Start menu and choosing Programs, finding AMX Inspired Signage, and then choosing Composer. Which method you use will depend on whether you are using a server-based version of Composer or whether you are using the desktop version of Inspired Composer. Either way, the software itself is essentially the same, and once you navigate to Inspired Composer, you see this login screen. Now, to get into Composer and start preparing to create your digital signage, you need to enter your username and your password. What your username and your password are will depend on your particular system. However, the default username and password is administrator for the username and administrator for the password. So you type administrator, administrator, and then click Login. Once you've logged in to Inspired Composer, you're ready to begin. Inspired Composer is a software tool that you use to import your templates and manage your messages, where you go to manage your players, and where you go to manage your users. Navigating around Inspired Composer is fairly easy, and there are three main sections. The three main sections are over here on the left. The icon with the three boxes is the Content Manager, and this is the page that opens when you log on to Inspired Composer. In the Content Manager, there are three subsections. The Messages section, where you actually edit your messages. The Playlist section, where you choose which playlists you want to add your messages to. Then there is the Publish section. In the Publish section, this is where you go to publish messages to the publish points in your system, which are the players. In the Templates Manager section, there's the Template Definitions section, which is where you go to import templates and assign them to your resource pools. And then there is the Templates subsection, which is where you can go to create templates based upon your uploaded templates and customize them for particular uses. And that is an advanced feature within Inspired Composer. In the Configuration section, there are four subsections. The Playlist Administration section is where you go to adjust the publish points for your various playlists and assign them to various resource pools. You can also manually create playlists as needed. The Players section, which we'll come back to in a moment, is where you go to import players and then add them to your publish points. The Users and Groups section is where you go to create different users and different user groups. Right now we only have one user, administrator, and various user groups that are drawing from different resource pools. And the resource pools are the pools of messages that these different user groups can use. And in the resource pools, we have an editor resource pool and a manager resource pool. Again, the resource pools is an advanced function within Inspired Composer. Well, once you've logged on and you've gotten a feel for where things are in Inspired Composer, you're ready to start adding your players. And that's the first step in Inspired Composer. Now, the temptation may be to go ahead and add your templates before you add your players, but that is not the process you need to take. The first thing we need to do is to go in and add our players. And that is because as we add our players, we set them as publish points. And later on, when we import our templates, we will need to link our templates to these publish points. And if we haven't imported our player, then this linking doesn't work correctly and it'll tend to mess up. So the first thing we need to do is add our players. Now, if you didn't do that in the right order, don't worry, it's a simple fix. All you have to do is to go into templates and then re-import your template packs. You don't have to delete them. Just re-import them over the old ones and then assign them to the new publish points where those players are. And then you'll need to go back into configuration, go to playlist administration, and then assign all the playlists that are created to the new publish point. But again, if you just start at the beginning and import your players before you import your templates, you won't have that issue. So we're just going to import our players. Now, if your player is on the same subnet as Composer, then you can just click Import Players, and it will search the network for your players and import them automatically in the system. And there we can see our player just got added, and it's there, and we could sit and wait for this to find some more players, but we only have one in our network, and so I can just do dismiss now that it's found my player. However, if you are not on the same subnet as your player, then it's not going to be able to find it. For example, if your player or Composer is behind a router, then Composer isn't going to be able to find your player. However, if you know the IP address of your player, then you can add that player manually. And you do that by using Create Player. In this dialog box, this is where we go to add our player. In player name, don't put your IP address here. That's a common mistake. I do it all the time. Actually, this is where you go to actually name what the player is. And I'm just going to call this training player. Again, it's whatever name is going to make sense for you and help you identify that player. Now, host name, that is where you need to go to add your IP address. And that's telling Composer where to go look for your new player. And I know that my IP address for my player is 192.168.123.90. And that is my player. And when I click Save, it added my player automatically and gave it the name of Training Player. And I can just click on Live Monitor here, and it'll launch the Inspired Signage Live Monitor. However, sometimes when you manually add players like that, it will default to the port of 25001, which isn't the right port for the version of the Web Config console that we use. If you type in the IP address directly, it takes you to the version of the web console that we're going to be using. So, if you are ever trying to get to this web console, you can do as I just did and click on it and then just delete the port number. Or if you want it to take you there directly, you can edit the player. If you go to Edit Player, and you see here the web port is 25001, 25001. If I change that port from 25001 to port 80, that's going to take me to the correct version of Live Monitor. And if I just click Save, now you can see that Live Monitor changed to port 80. And when I click on that, it's going to take me directly to the right version of Live Monitor. So if you ever run into that issue for some reason, now you know how to fix it. Well, now that you've uploaded your player, there's actually one more thing we need to do on this screen. And don't forget to do this because the next step's not going to work until you do this, and that is to set your player as a publish point. So you click Add Players, and that adds the player that you just uploaded under the All Players player set. So now Training Player is a publish point, and you can use it to publish the signage that you're going to create in the Messages section. So now our player is uploaded and we're ready to upload our templates. To do that, you go to the Template Manager. And in the Template Definitions section, you need to import a template pack. Choose Files. It's going to open a browse window, and you're just going to search for the template packs, the TPK files for your system. And select them, and then choose Open. Alright, I've selected 4 template packs, 4 TPK files, and now I'm ready to upload them. So I'm just going to click Upload, and you can see that they're uploading now. Once the files are done uploading, you'll see this dialog box, which asks what you want to do now that you've uploaded the template packs. Well, generally, the defaults are going to be fine on this left-hand side. You just want to say create a template for the newly imported definitions and create a message for the new templates. And so that's going to create stock messages and templates for the template definitions that you've uploaded. The one thing you do want to make sure you do on this dialog box is to set Training Player as a publish point. This way, Training Player will know what these new templates are and will be able to use them. Now that we've selected Training Player, we're ready to import. Alright, so we've uploaded our templates, and if we go over here to Content Manager, we'll see all these new templates that are showing up as messages in our system, and we are ready to begin creating signage. And we'll do that in the next video.